All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Wion this morning, where a day after Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists had carried out a major attack in the Pulwama district, the death toll has risen to 44. Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who was scheduled to travel to Bihar, has cancelled his trip. Instead, he will be visiting Srinagar today to meet with the CRPF soldiers and also to take stock of the situation. Rajnath Singh has promised stern action against the perpetrators of the attack. Listen in.
आतंकी हमले का समुचित जवाब देने के लिए सारा देश एकजुट है। हम अपनी जिम्मेदारियों को अच्छी तरह समझते हैं और देश की जनता को यह भरोसा देते हैं कि इस पर जो भी कार्रवाई करना आवश्यक है उसे करने में हम कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे। हम शांति और अमन को भंग करने वालों के नापाक मंसूबों को नाकाम करने के लिए पूरी तरह से दृढ़ संकल्पित हैं। हम देश को आश्वस्त करना चाहते हैं।
And also, DG CRPF will also be visiting the Kashmir Valley today. Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satyapal Malik has confirmed the terrorists came from across the border. Meanwhile, mobile services have been suspended in Jammu. Now, this is in fact the deadliest attack on security forces in the Kashmir Valley in almost well over 2 decades. This is also one of the worst attacks since the 2001 Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly car bombing. A convoy belonging to the Central Reserve Police Force was targeted by a car bomb in Avantipura on Thursday afternoon. There were about 78 vehicles in this CRPF convoy. It was on its way from Jammu to Srinagar, and one vehicle that was part of this convoy was targeted by a car that was laden with more than 350 kilograms of explosives, which rammed into the CRPF bus, killing at least 44 personnel. Many others are said to be injured, and the death toll could in fact rise even higher. As many as about 2,500 CRPF personnel were part of this convoy. 3 years ago, the very same terror outfit, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, had targeted the Army Brigade headquarters in Uri. The suicide bomber has been identified as Adil Ahmed Dar, and he had reportedly joined the Jaish-e-Mohammed in 2018. The terrorists have released a video of him. We have decided not to broadcast the video. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has condemned the terror attack, and I quote him from his tweet. The attack on the CRPF personnel in Pulwama is despicable. I strongly condemn this dastardly attack. The sacrifices of our brave security personnel shall not go in vain. The entire nation stands shoulder to shoulder with the families of the brave martyrs. May the injured recover. This is the statement that has been put out by the Indian Prime Minister on Twitter after this attack. And India has also slammed China and Pakistan for shielding the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, sheltering and shielding terrorists. In a strongly worded statement, the Indian government has in fact called out Pakistan for allowing terror groups to freely operate from its soil. Now, India has called the attack as a heinous and a despicable crime. The statement by the Indian government reads, and I quote, India has vowed to fight against the menace of terrorism and has demanded that Pakistan should stop supporting terrorists and terror groups operating from their territory and dismantle the infrastructure that is operated by the terror outfits to launch attacks in other countries. It also further adds that India has also appealed to all members of the international community to support the proposal to list terrorists, including the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar, as a designated global terrorist in the United Nations Security Council, and to ban terror organizations operating from territories that are controlled by Pakistan. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by my colleague Sashan Vani, who's joining us live from Srinagar. I have my colleague Siddhant Sibil, who's joining us live from New Delhi. And Anas Malik is joining us live from Islamabad. Good morning to all three of you gentlemen. Let me begin with you, Ishan. What is the situation like on the ground at this point of time?
Well, the situation is pretty tense. The mobile internet services have been suspended or they have been kept on the 2G. The security forces are not taking any risks. There is going to be an NIA team which will land up in Srinagar, but the poor visibility has led to several flights delay from the Srinagar airport. But at the same time, an NIA team which has a forensic team with them will examine the samples. But yesterday when we spoke to the top officials of the Jammu and Kashmir police, they have said that actually they have been able to take some samples from the ground. Remember, this was a heavily laden SUV vehicle which hit a CRPF convoy and killed at least 44 CRPF Jawans. Now this is a gruesome attack which has taken place in Kashmir Valley after a long time. If I remember correctly, it was in 2004, as we have been reporting that the last time any car-based attack took place in Kashmir. Locally, we haven't seen Fidain attacks being carried out by local residents of the Kashmir Valley, but this time around we have seen that the Adil resident of Pulwama was behind this particular attack. Now remember, it will lead to several arrests, and how this basically they were able to get an explosive more than 100 kgs in the Kashmir Valley. So that will be part of the investigation, and there will be a series of arrests that police will make around this particular area. Remember, there aren't many people living around that particular place. That means that it might have taken them a long time to plan and execute this particular attack.
Absolutely, indeed. Ishan, do continue to stay on with us. Let me bring in my colleague Siddhant Civil at this point of time. Siddhant, this is a dastardly attack, the worst attack on the Indian security forces that's taken place in the Kashmir Valley. How has the Indian government responded to this?
Well, a day after that terror attack, the worst terror attack in the country in over 20 years, we have seen MEA reacting and hitting out at Islamabad, saying that it should not give safe haven to terrorist infrastructure, and also sent a message to Beijing, particularly when it comes to listing of the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief at the UN Security Council list, the 1267 committee, which was blocked by China not once but thrice. And we have, of course, seen statements also being issued across the world from foreign ministries, from Australia to US to UK, barring two countries. Pakistan, of course, issued a statement, two statements actually in a span of just 15 minutes, of course, rejecting India and saying that it has its own problems. In a sense, there are problems in the region. But, of course, China has been silent. There has not been any reaction. We do expect, as the day progresses, the reaction from China at 9:15 local time here in India. There will be a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security. As we have heard the Home Minister saying that India will take a strong action. That is the action everyone is waiting for. At 10 a.m. here, the Indian Prime Minister will be speaking at an event. We do expect him to make a statement on the terror attack as well.
Absolutely indeed, Siddhant. Do continue to stay on with us. Let me now bring in my colleague Anas Malik, who's joining us live from Islamabad. Anas, the fact of the matter is India has repeatedly asked Pakistan to crack down on these terror elements that operate out of the Pakistani soil. But Pakistan has said that there is not adequate enough proof. Now, Masood Azhar is one of these individuals who operates from the Pakistani soil. Can we now expect the Imran Khan administration to crack down on him?
Well, yes, Saleh, this is indeed very deplorable on the part of Pakistan that it has continuously failed to act against non-state actors, as it classifies from the word that it uses for Masood Azhar and the likes of Hafiz Saeed. But fact of the matter is that Masood Azhar and Hafiz Saeed openly operate out of Pakistan, and the fact that the state is complicit. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a late-night statement showing its grave concern on the Pulwama attack. They said that the statement said that it has always condemned the heinous attacks of terror in the valley, and that it strongly rejected all of the claims and any enunciations from a section of the Indian media, as the statement reads, and by the Indian government, that tried to frame the the state of Pakistan in these attacks without any prior investigations. But at the same time, what remains unanswered, or what is very questionable, is the fact that the open movement of Jaish-e-Mohammed here in Pakistan, Jaish-e-Mohammed being operating out of Bahawalpur, is no secret. In fact, just 7 months ago, they recently upgraded their seminary as well. They moved into a bigger space comparatively, and we're yet to see. And interestingly, the space that has been bought off by the Jaish-e-Mohammed in Bahawalpur has been bought off by Masood Azhar's brother Rauf Azhar. Now, Rauf Azhar has been nominated by the state of Pakistan in the FIR of the Pathankot attack. So it clearly shows duplicity on the part of Pakistan, on the part of the state of Pakistan, that how serious it is to tackle that one issue that India has been repeatedly saying to Pakistan of tackling terror emanating from its soil. Yes,
absolutely not. This is something that will be looked upon very, very seriously, and there will be some concrete action, one hopes, that will be taken. But Ishan Vani, if I can bring you in on this, the fact of the matter is, it was a Mahindra Scorpio that was laden with explosives that in fact rammed into this vehicle. Now, there are also reports of gunshots that have been seen on this CRPF van that we've just had on our screens. So it in fact clearly indicates that there was more than one terrorist who has carried out this attack, and this person who rammed his car into the CRPF van had other accomplices. Do we have any information at this point in terms of what's happening operationally on the ground?
Well, yes, initially yesterday when we heard the news that there was an exchange of gunfire, but it actually will be part of an investigation that were there any people who were apart from that particular person who rammed his car into the CRPF cavalcade, were there any other people hiding near that particular place and maybe recording, filming, as we have seen in the past in several terror attacks across the globe that these things happen. But maybe that was a shots fired by the CRPF Jawans to see that if there were any more militants who could be hiding near that particular place. But everything will be part of the investigation now, since the DNA samples have been taken from the spot, and it's a difficult time for the families of these CRPF Jawan who have lost their lives. Condemnations have been pouring in from across the political parties in the Kashmir Valley, including the PDP National Conference, have been condemning it. At the same time, we are seeing that the forensic team of the NIA would come to Kashmir Valley and be part of an investigation along with the Jammu and Kashmir police, who are the prime people who are really investigating this case. But the fact is that whether there were any more people, was there any gunshot fired, or were these gunshots fired by a CRPF Jawan, so as to check, as it is a procedure to check if there are any more people hiding around that particular place or not.
Right.
That will be part of an investigation and will be revealed as the day progresses.
Absolutely. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, all three gentlemen, to Ishan Vani, to Siddhant Sibil and to Anas Malik for joining us on this broadcast. We'll of course track this story very, very closely.